There's two types of people in this world. There's people who love explosive rifles, and then there are liars. Hey guys, I'm Brandon, and today I'm going to be doing a service level review of the explosive rifle known as the R-36 Eruptor. So the R-36 Eruptor is a new weapon that was added as part of the Democratic Detonation War Bond. That was the third war bond added in the game. And it can be acquired for just 1,000 social credit, usual. And then you're going to need 120 medallions to be able to get to the second page of the Democratic Detonation War Bond. And then there you can buy the R-36 Eruptor, which you're going to want because this weapon is absolutely crazy. This weapon does more damage than any other weapon, and it's more fun than any other weapon too. This thing packs an insane punch. This thing will make the standard rifle look like a blowgun. Nothing compares to this thing. This thing is insanely fun to use. It has medium armor penetrating, so it can go through half the armors in the game, over half. And it's explosive on top of that, which also has medium armor penetration, which is, once again, insane. But in the short of it, it's basically a miniature autocannon, which feels super awesome to run around with on the battlefield, just blowing up 5 bugs or bots at a time, whatever groups of enemies there are. The only time it struggles is against enemies like Bile Titans and the automaton tanks. But besides that, you can one-shot so many things in this game. The Devastators, one shot, they're dead. The Bile Spewers, one shot, they're dead. It can even take out Hulks. The thing takes like 3 shots to the head, and then it'll kill the Hulk. It's a little inconsistent against Hulks though, but it gets the job done without you needing to use a support weapon or any heavy artillery. The exact damage values is a little weird. On the tooltip, it says that it does 380 damage, but only 230 of that is direct impact damage, like when you hit them directly with the gyro jet, and then the other 130 damage comes from the actual explosion, which on the wiki says it has about 7.5 meter explosive radius, which is still, it's pretty good for an explosive rifle that's a primary. Sadly though, about a week ago, a patch did roll out, patch 1.0003, which did bring 2 changes to the Eruptor. They aren't insanely awful, or they aren't gonna kill the gun by any means, but the first change they added is they took 6 of the spare mags away from the Eruptor, which leaves you with 6 spare mags, which it's a bit unnecessary. I mean, you never ran into any ammo problems unless you miss your resupplies, like I do all the time, so that's the only time you're gonna run into any problems. It's not the worst thing in the world. It could be worse. They could have nerfed the damage and killed the gun, but the gun's still fine. And the other change is they removed the explosive pole, which gave the Eruptor the infamous nickname, the Vortex Gun, because for some reason, I don't know what went wrong in the coding process, but they for some reason coded it so that all the explosive weapons in the Democratic Detonation Warbond would suck entities towards the explosion, which I have no idea how that even happened. It was really fun to, mess with your friends with, but ideally you got yourself and your friends killed most of the time. So it's a good or bad change depending how you look at it, but it was overall just really funny to use.
You're really mature for a level 23. Where am I again? I think it's because you had your shield out. Let me
Someone
in!
save me. Someone
You nearly killed
save
Nate because
me.
of that. Hey Nate, don't do that. We have samples.
The main downside that the Eruptor has is the painfully sluggish rechambering speed after each shot. But even then, there's a workaround for that. The R&D branch of Super Earth, they went hard. They went hard. So the RPM of the weapon usually is 25. However, if you swap your weapon to cancel the rechambering animation, if you swap to your secondary and back to your primary, it will completely cancel that out, and then you can just fire it again. So it raises the RPM to what feels like twice as fast, but you're gonna run out of ammo twice as fast too, and you won't even realize. There's so many times where I'll just be spraying at enemies, and my mag will be empty before I know it, and I will just hear the clicking sound, then I'll be like, oh, I need to reload. I didn't even realize.
1 minute.
Obviously, though, the other downside of the Eruptor is the explosive nature of it, which it's an upside and a downside. The main downside part of it is that if you shoot anything close to yourself, you're gonna blow yourself up and do a lot of damage to yourself in the process. So you want to either bring like the machine gun pistol as a secondary, normal pistol, anything that you're not going to kill yourself with if you need to kill something at close range. There are some stratagems you can bring though to kind of support the Eruptor. One of them is the guard dog backpack, which is really useful for just automatically just killing anything that gets close to you. It's mostly good against bugs because bugs are the only thing that's gonna get super close to you. The shield generator also works, but if you're going against automatons, you'd probably want to use the shield generator instead because you aren't going to really have that many bots getting that close to you. And then lastly, you can also use the Quasar Cannon with it, just because it's unlimited ammo. It blows through heavy armor. It's just really useful for killing the few things that the Eruptor doesn't, which, as I stated earlier, is a very few amount of things. There aren't a lot of things in this game that the Eruptor will not kill. Like I said earlier, there's the Biotitans that it can't kill, and there's the automaton tanks that it can't kill. Like, and that's it. Like, everything else, the Eruptor can find a way to kill it. Like, chargers, I'm pretty sure I killed a charger with a headshot before with that thing. That thing just... The Eruptor is a crazy good weapon and fun weapon. You can blow apart whole patrols at a time, and you just see that little skull with the 5x next to it at the bottom. It's the most satisfying thing ever. Just use the gun. Just use the gun. Just use the gun. The weapon isn't only good for killing enemies, though. It is totally multi-purpose. You can close bug holes. You can close automaton foundries. You can completely take down a factory shredder with just one well-placed shot into the vent of the foundry, and it will just go down. It doesn't even have to be a direct shot in there. Just if you hit it at the right angle, it can kill it, and it's just super useful to use in almost any scenario. At the end of the day, though, just use whatever weapon you find yourself having the most fun with. That's what the game is all about at the end of the day. The Eruptor just happens to be my favorite gun, but it's the best gun. It's the right opinion. It's just the best gun in the game. I'm just so glad they added it. It's just so fun. It's just so fun.